Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Charlotte Elise Williams, and on today's video we will be discussing how to register yourself on the U-filing system. Now this system has specifically been created for us to apply for UIF and to claim UIF online. Okay, so the first thing that we will have to do now is then to go ahead and search for U-filing. But the thing is about this is that there are a lot of articles being written about U-filing and a lot of pages that's going to pop up on the search. So the first thing that you need to understand is that you need to basically look for the page that specifically says U-filing. Basically, if it says www.ufiling.co.za, that is the page that you would want to click on. Alternatively, you would then have to just simply search for the Labor Department, and that is quite a long process because the Labor Department has a lot of links to it, and you might waste a lot of time and a lot of data, and that's just not a good thing. So search for U-filing and then make sure that you look for the page or the search results that says www.ufiling.co.za, and that is what you will be clicking on. Okay, so when you get onto the U-filing page, the first thing that you will see when you log in will basically be a page that's going to pop up, and it's going to have it's going to basically have a summary of what the U-filing system is. Now, when you get to the UIF page, the first two things that you'll see that is highlighted will be register and log in. So when you log in, that simply means that you already registered on the page, and then you can simply just go ahead and put in your login details. Now, if you're a first-time user and you've never actually registered before, you will then go ahead and click register. Now, when you click register, it will take you to the terms and conditions for the use of the unemployment insurance fund. Now, I would suggest that people actually go ahead and read through the terms and conditions just for clarity and also for your own understanding. So if you are done reading this, then you will then simply press yes and say continue. Now, when you do that, then you will get to a page that is basically, how do I say, titled as register, and it simply has a note that says please enter your full names and surname as they appear on your ID document, meaning the name and the surname that's on your ID document is what you will use to fill in basically this online form. So here's where a lot of people are actually struggling when it comes to your username. Now, a lot of people find this very difficult because username is basically the name that will appear and the name that you will use every time you log in, just like when you have a username for Facebook, right? But unlike Facebook, this username, oh my goodness, let me explain it in this way. When you get to Facebook and you type in your name and somebody already has that name, what Facebook does is that it suggests another name. However, with this online system, it does not suggest another name. It will tell you that the name already exists and you have to keep on trying. Now remember, you need to enter your names and your surnames as it appears on your ID document, meaning that you cannot be adding anything other than your name, your surname, or your name, your second name, and your surname. Those are the three things that you can use for your username. Now, a lot of people are struggling with this because it keeps on saying that this user already exists, this user already exists. But my thing is keep on trying. Keep on trying, and it's difficult because sometimes you even find that there's somebody that has the exact name and surname as you, and unfortunately it's taken, or you can't even use your name because it's taken. So it provides a hurdle for a lot of people, but you need to, I don't know, become creative I know somebody said that they actually used their initials and surname and that worked. Somebody said that they actually swapped their name and surname. So they first wrote their surname and then their name and it worked. So you need to be able to try and figure out a way to incorporate your basically your whole name onto that. Okay, so when you are done with this, then you will obviously have your title, which is either are you a doctor, are you advocate, are you a miss, are you a missus, and then you'll just select that and then you'll put in your initials, your full names as it appears on your ID, and your surname. And then when you get to type of ID, it's either your options will be your passport number or South African ID. Now, if you are a South African or born South African, then you will then say South African ID. But if you have a passport number, then you will then select passport number. Now, this option is quite tricky, especially when you're using your passport number, because your employer, like I said before, your employer have to have had registered for you for the UIF and also contributed to the UIF in order for you to be able to claim from it. So when you get to type of ID, then you will then select which option you'll be using. So if you are South African by birth, then you'll use your South African ID. And if you are a foreign national, then you will use your passport. Then you will go to registration preferred context, which an option of email and SMS is given to you. Preferably, I will advise people to use SMS because it's cheaper, and also not everybody checks their emails every single day. So SMS, it's much more convenient for you in this. Then you will go ahead and click on the I am not a robot and hit register. Now, when you have officially registered, you will then have the ability to log into the U-filing system, right? So when you log into the U-filing system, the first thing or the first page that you will land on is the page that's titled Menu Functions. Now, menu function is where you find a variety of things. So the first thing that you'll find there is registrations, and this is basically used by employers. So employers will basically use this function as a way to register themselves on the U-filing page. So this is basically a function that your bosses will use. You as an employee will not use this function. All right. So then the second function that we'll be getting is Declarations Manager. Now, this Declarations Manager is where you as an employee can actually go ahead and search for your employer on this page so that you can see what your declaration is. However, if your employer is not registered on the U-filing system, you will not be able to find the company. So if your employer is, for instance, using auditors in order to file all the UIF contributions, then it means that they will not exist on this page. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not contributing to UIF. It just simply means that them as individual or them as a company does not exist on the page, right? So then the third function will then be employment. So here you will view your UIF contributions. Again, when your employer has not filed a declaration, you will not be able to view your UIF contribution. And then the last function that you will be getting is Manage Profile. Now, Manage Profile is basically all your personal details, from changing your password to your personal details to your banking details. Now, this is very important for you to understand, is that your banking details on the system have to be correct. You guys, the U-filing system will use this banking details in order to pay out your claim. So if something is wrong and by accident your money ends up in somebody else's account, it is your fault. Remember, you are the one that is going to be basically putting up all the information on this system. There are some people that might help you for a fee. That's great. But I feel like sometimes we just need to learn how to be independent and how to take responsibility for our own, how do I say, our own actions, because at the end of the day, we are all adults now. You can't still depend on somebody to be responsible for your information. All right, so on the filing system, there is actually also a main menu. So on this main menu, you basically have home, you have get started, you have manage profile, you have registrations, you have declaration manager, you have benefits, application and payments, and you have employment, and you have payment history. So this is basically the main menu of the page. So home, when you click on home, basically is going to take you back to the first page that you were on. Getting started, when you click on getting started, basically it will get you quick access to certain guides on the filing page. So that's register your employer. So you as an employee can register your employer, add employees and declaration and declare earnings. That is done by the employer, meaning your boss will use this function. Submit a claim for unemployment benefit. So that is the function that you will be using if you want to submit your claim for the unemployment benefit. And if you do that, you will be simply click here to apply for UIF benefits, and then you will click on it, and then the last guide will be view my UIF contributions. Now remember, this is the part that I don't necessarily understand, because when I click on it, it doesn't necessarily show my UIF contribution, because it should simply states that no declaration to display, meaning that, again, my employers are not on the filing system, and I cannot see how much they have contributed to my UIF. And I feel like that should be an option that is open to us, but I don't know, you guys. I don't, there's just a lot that's going on here, and I am learning as I go. So when you go to manage profile, again, is the same as on the face page, where you can change your password. You have your personal details, which you can also change, and you have your banking information, which can also change. Again, make sure that your information is correct. Then you have registrations. Here's basically where you can register your employer. Again, you can add, and then you can request. You can request to have your employer's addition stated. So yeah, that is what is on registration. Then declaration manager is basically your declaration that the employer has submitted to the UIF. And then you have your benefits applications. This is where it's basically showing you what you have, benefits you have applied for, continuation of benefits. This one actually had me thinking a lot, because, guys, I didn't know that people can get different types of benefits. I actually did not know, because there's unemployment benefit, there's illness, there's maternity, and there's abortion. So that's something that I learned when I was actually on this page, that there are actually different benefits that you can claim from the UIF. There's another page where I also read about people doing temporary benefits claims through the UIF. So maybe if you are off for 2 weeks without pay, you can actually go ahead and claim for that. I'm not sure how it will apply to the filing, because I haven't seen it at all. And then you get this, then the another function after benefits, applications, and payments, you will get employment. And then here you will then view your employee declaration status. Again, if your employer has not filed the declarations, your declaration status, it will not show. And your payment history is basically, I believe this will only show when you have received your UIF benefit claims. So if you have received those COVID claims, I don't necessarily think that it's going to show up here, because that is something entirely on its own. All right, guys, this is my full video of what it actually looks like when you have registered for UIF. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was helpful. I know that there's not a lot of information out there, and a lot of people are actually struggling to get by and to apply. Now, remember, if the U-filing system does not work for you, you are always welcome to go to the Labor Department and just claim manually.